Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Rhonda. Y'all, this is like the fourth time I've tried to shoot this video because I just can't emotionally get my head wrapped around it. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna share my testimony, share my story, and just kind of give you a backstory of where this channel, the inspiration of this channel came from, and why I'm here and sharing what I'm sharing. Never thought I would do this. It's not been on my radar. I did not want to take on this. I balked at it for several months. So yeah, let's just get into it. I was born in Danville, Virginia, moved to Florida when I was 11 with my mom, my dad, and my sister. Had a usual, childhood. Before we left Virginia, I went to a little Baptist church with my family. My Nana was and my Papa was very religious. So I was not going to be that, because all I remember is the preaching and the scowling of, just the real religious thumb. That's what I remember, from when I was little. And so we moved to Florida. We really didn't go to church once we got down here that I can remember. I do, in high school, I didn't hang around really bad kids. I didn't hang around I was just kind of a regular average kid, average high schooler. I was on the swim team. The worst thing I did was smoke cigarettes, which really impaired my swimming ability because I was a really good, strong swimmer. And then, so I kind of fell into that crowd. Then I had my first beer, and it would taste horrible. And they kept saying, hold your nose, shoot it fast, and you won't taste it, but you'll feel it. I'm like, okay, great. And that's what I did. Met my husband when I was 17. I didn't date much. I didn't have very many boyfriends. And at the time, looking back, I could give you the whole philosophy of it and the whole psychological reason, but that's not what we're here for. We're just here to say that just kind of what led me up to where I'm at now is I didn't date much. I didn't have an independence. I was very self-conscious. I was just kind of husky. I don't know if you remember the term husky, but I was husky. And so I was self-conscious of, like my body, and just had that insecurity, that low self-esteem. And even though I was active and, with other normal kids, I still would make choices that made me question, why did I do that? That's not who I am, because it felt wrong. It felt wrong then. But also when you're young, you don't have that reasoning ability. So you do what's in the crowd because you want to fit in. And if you're already feeling low about yourself, you do it. That's what you do. Not necessarily peer pressure, but the pressure to fit in. And so I just remember sneaking out. I remember I didn't have, like I said, not too many boyfriends, but there was never a period where I didn't have a boyfriend. It was like I had a boyfriend, broke up with this boyfriend because I liked this boyfriend, and then went with that boyfriend, broke up with that boyfriend, went with this one and so that was kind of my tendency. And then I met my husband, my first husband, and I started dating him when I was almost 17. No, I had just turned 17. And I was with him for 20 years. I mean, we got married when I was 19. I had my first child when I was 21. And yeah, and then I had 2 more after that. So my story kind of flips into, so that was kind of just like a brief history. So my marriage, I knew I wanted to raise my children in church. I knew that I wanted to take them to church. I was not evenly yoked. My husband came from a Catholic background, even though his family weren't actually actively going to a Catholic church or anything. So it was just the religion that was attached to his family, just like I wasn't going to church and I was a Christian because that's what my family was raised in. I was Baptist. And so I decided to start going to church because that's what you do when you start a family, and you want to start giving them a good foundation, and you want to get them on the right track. So I found a little Baptist church here in where I live. I would take the kids. My husband wouldn't go, but I felt I'm just going to live through and change him through example. And we just continued to, do everyday things. I went to school for nursing. I got my bachelor's in nursing. I worked full time, and just thought everything was hunky-dory. And then that's where my life took a change. I had a very, very hard breakup in my marriage. I had a friend who betrayed me. My husband betrayed me, and it was ugly. If you can imagine ugly, it was uglier than that. The pain that I had from that emotional breakup, it changed me in the core of who I am. I mean, I'm talking, it changed the core of my being. And I immediately, the Christian that I thought I was, going to church, getting up early, doing my Bible studies, had the bumper stickers, had the cute little t-shirts and the sweatshirts, and went to the conferences, sung all the religious songs, and just felt like I was a Christian. I really felt good. I even, to this day, I remember one of the nurses that I worked with came up to me and asked me, she goes, "Are you a Christian?" And I'm like, "Yes." Why? She goes, "It's all over you." That was the best compliment I have ever been given my entire life up till now. And I just remember that the minute that my life went from this way to this way, I dropped God like a hot potato. I'm like, what are you doing to me? What is happening? My life cannot be this way. I go to church. I'm raising my kids the way they're supposed to be raised. I'm doing all the right things. I'm trying to be a good wife. We don't ever fight. What is happening? And it just got ugly from there. That's a whole nother video. I should be writing a book actually, but who knows? But so needless to say, I changed. I became so unrecognizable to myself, and I did not even care. I did not even care. The first thing that I started to do was try to be exactly like my friend. I thought, well, if I just become like her, then he'll see that in me, and there will be no, you know what I mean? That's what I'll do. So I just changed. I changed. And I started drinking more. That wasn't it. That didn't make a difference. That made me feel a lot better. That made me feel the numbness. That made me feel like this doesn't really bother me. This isn't happening. We've already separated our friendship. We're going to work on my marriage, and we're going to move forward from here. And it never was the same because I was different. I had changed. I was suspicious. I was jealous. I was bitter. I had so much hate. It was like cement. My heart had turned to cement. And I had plans. We were going to move away. I thought, oh, well, we'll just move away and all of this will go away. I set up interviews in Colorado, was going to go there, had Poudre Valley Hospital in my sights, and that's where I was going to go. I was going to go work in the GI lab. That's what I was going to do. And my dad got sick, canceled that plan. We stayed here. There was a reunited event, and that's when I just said, you know what? I can't live like this. And that's when I filed for a divorce. So, needless to say, that was the quickest divorce my attorney has ever had in her entire practice. It was done in 5 weeks. There was no contesting. There was no nothing. It was done. It was finished. But that's not where it ended. That's just the beginning. Because from there, you have to stand back up. From there, you have to refocus your life now as a single mom of 3 children who, over the past few years before the actual divorce happened, had seen this mom crumbling and falling and failing and falling apart. And so they had no security in that. So it was a mess, y'all. It was a mess. And still, I'm not turning to God. I'm angry. I am bitter at God. Anytime the thought would come into me to try to go back to church, it was shunned out just like that. Nope, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it, because that's the life I lived before. This all happened. I'm just going to do it on my own. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to fix myself. And y'all, I gained so much weight. I just started drinking, and first I lost a lot of weight, because you go through that whole divorce diarrhea stuff and you just lose everything, and then you start standing up on your feet again and you start moving forward. But then I turned, with the alcohol and eating late at night, working 12-hour shifts. I think I worked night shift for a year, and that really puts weight on you. As a nurse, you're working night shift, you're everything's messed up. So anyway, I was a mess. And I'm really not going to get into my marriage now, because that's really a whole nother story, but it's a good one. You'll come back for that one. But so anyway, as I was walking forward, there was a lot of friends of mine who would try to convince me to do personal development. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's what I need. So I started reading personal development books. I really started getting into the New Age practices. I would do like horoscopes and the angel numbers, spirit animals, the Enneagram. I mean, I was so eat up with it. I was really big into yoga and just felt really good with the yoga practices. I felt like I was really kind of coming to my own. And I was doing all of this while I was unfortunately drunk most of the time. So yeah, that's the other part of the story. Through my divorce, after my divorce, the only way that I made it through to where I am today is by drinking. Because when I was early on in the divorce process, I was suicidal. I had been put on suicide watch with a girlfriend. She had to stay with me. I could not see past this veil of darkness that had come over my life. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. There wasn't even a tunnel. There was a veil that just stopped right here. I curled up in a ball, and God was still watching over me. He was still putting people in my life that would not let me fail. He continued to provide and protect me throughout this whole entire darkness. This is why I couldn't do the video. It's because it amazes me how I dropped him like a hot potato, but yet he just stood there and he kept sending the people that he knew was going to take me to where he needed me to be, or where he wanted me to be. And so I would get, my drinking was very strange. I never drank because I liked to drink. I drank because I liked to be numb. There's a big difference. Some people can be social drinkers. Some people can enjoy a couple drinks, a couple glasses of wine, and be done. I had an issue I was trying to drown, and the thing wasn't going to drown unless I poured a lot of alcohol on it really quick and took it by surprise. And so that's what I did. I continued to just drown my sorrows. And I even remember going to work so hungover sometime that I don't even know how I did it. Isn't that a shame? But yeah, that's my truth. So fast forward, I do the personal development, I get into the New Age, and then I start feeling weird. I start feeling a different tug. I start feeling like, you know what? This doesn't feel right anymore. Something isn't right about what I'm doing. I didn't know what it was. I look back now, of course I know what it was. But, it was just Jesus telling me, girl, you gotta pull up your big girl panties and get back in line. And so I think it was December 26th of 2019 is when I decided that was my last drink. We were having our family Christmas, and I remember the next day I was looking back through the pictures and how drunk I was with my family on Christmas. And I have a granddaughter. And I remember having her, you know, she stays at our house all the time. And I remember being buzzed and thinking that we're having a good time. I have memories like that just break my heart now. But back then I didn't see that. So on December 26th, December 27, when I was looking back at the pictures on December 26th, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Who am I? And I did not pick up a drink since then. I just laid it down, and it's a mental battle in the beginning. It's a real mental battle. And I just remember getting sober books. I remember getting sober podcasts and just filling my brain with that. I learned how to make some mocktails because I kept telling myself, well, I still have to have that habit. I mean, I was starting to drink at 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I still needed to fill that with something. And so I started making mocktails to trick my brain to think, okay, here we're having something, and just kind of walk the walk. And then there was a girl I saw on Instagram. I friended her and just started talking, and she worked with me on something called shadow work. Now, this was before I, really gave myself back to Jesus and just asked for forgiveness and repented and said, hey, yeah, I'm ready. So she walked me through some shadow work. Now, I'm not saying this is what fixed me or anything, but this was a big part of my story, because all these years that I had been drinking, I was drinking to push down those ugly feelings that I had, the hurt, the pain, the bitterness, the envy, the jealousy, all of that. I just wanted to push it down. Shadow work has you bring all of that to the surface, and you have to stare at it straight in your face, and you have to walk with it side by side, because what you're doing when you are suppressing it is you're making it work harder to come out. But once you bring it out and you acknowledge it and you say, yeah, I know, I went through an ugly divorce, I drink too much, I'm this, and I know all of that. You're not a secret. All of a sudden it's next to you. It has air to breathe. All it wanted to do is to be acknowledged. Yeah, I have pain. I have a history. I've been hurt. I've been stomped on. I've been trampled on. It doesn't change. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't go away just because you push it down. In fact, it gets worse. And so once I did that and faced my demon, all of a sudden I felt lighter. I felt like a part of me had just been like released, and I started looking at things differently. Hold on. Okay. So, I started looking at why I was doing things. Why am I drinking? It's because of this. Okay, well then let's address that. I've always been a resourceful person until I became the person that I wasn't. I call it the other Rhonda. She was a real life person in my life. She existed for quite a long time. She was just laid to rest in December 27th of 2019. So she no longer exists. She did exist. She was very real, and she was very horrible. There's a lot of things I remember saying to my kids that I can't take back. There's a lot of things I remember not being for my kids that I can't undo, but that's all back there. I can't keep carrying it around like up here if I want to move forward. And so I quit drinking, and I remember on day 84. Now, I had quit drinking many times before. I'm not just saying that this is a one-time deal. I've tried to quit drinking many times, and I would get to day like 90, 94, 95, and then all of a sudden I would say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm not an alcoholic. I can drink whenever I want to. See, I stopped for this long. And there I was, day 84, thinking, yep, I got this. Why can't I drink? Who says I can't drink? I am an adult. I can do whatever I want to. This is what adults do. And I kid you not, I swear that, now my husband's going to drive by with the lawnmower. Sorry about that, but isn't he cute? You'll meet him one day. So anyway, on day 84, I'm standing in front of my refrigerator. I had a Yeti like this, but it was camouflage. It was the same camouflage Yeti I had used all those years, filling it with ice because I was done. Day 84, I was done. I made it. I'll try again another day. Was going to go out to the barn, get a, gosh, what was that? A White Claw, because 2 would fit, and I'd pour it in there, and then I would just be on my way. And something halted me. I heard, this is not who you are. You were not made, this is not who you are. And I have better plans for you. I have bigger plans for you. I was hearing this like I was in the kitchen with someone else, and I was not. That's how audible it was to me. And I literally stopped filling it up with ice, pushed it under the water, filled it with water, stuck a straw in it, and drank the entire, I think it's 32 ounces of water. And what that did for me at that time was gave me something in my stomach that satisfied that thirst that I thought I was going to be satisfying with the White Claw. And it gave me a minute to say, what is happening? What did I just hear? And from then on, I gave it up. I completely surrendered everything. I surrendered my hatred. I surrendered just the alcoholism. I surrendered the hold that sin had around my neck so tight that I could not even swallow sometimes. And I let it go. And from that day, I have not touched a drop of alcohol. I haven't had rum cake. I haven't had Kahlua. I haven't had anything that would be any kind of alcohol. And it's not because I don't think I could handle it. It's because the taste is removed. The need is removed. And I just started from that day kind of walking forward with Jesus, holding me both hands, not dragging me, but holding both hands, because that's how unsteady I was. That's how unsure and still doubting what I was doing because of just how different of a person that I was. I know where I came from. I know the evil in me. I know the visions in my mind. I know to the extent of harm that I wanted to happen to people. When you get thoughts in your head, when you are in that state, it is so scary what those evil spirits can do. It is so scary what the devil can get. Y'all, I'm telling you, I was not in a good place for such a long time. And so anyway, picked up and walked with Jesus. I got my Bible. I had a Joyce Meyer Bible, the only Bible. And I ended up seeing a friend of mine. I got invited to a Facebook group. I joined the Facebook group. And from that day forward, what Amy said that day was what really triggered. It was like, it's just like God said, I want you to sit down in front of the computer. Oh, look, so Katie's sending you a Facebook group to join. Okay, I'll join. Oh, look, there's Amy sharing her first video saying how God's talking to her to start this Facebook group because he has a ministry that he wants her to minister to. And here God sits me smack dab in front of that whole situation. And y'all, it just changed my life. It changed everything. And he's been doing that ever since. Ever since, he has been walking me just like that. Here, go here. Here, go here. As long as I'm obedient, it blows my mind. Sometimes when I'm balking, like setting up this YouTube channel and doing this video and sharing my story, it don't feel as good. Sitting here, I am sweating because I feel like I'm all over the place. I feel like I haven't really given you a good background, but yet this is my story. I can't make it up. I'm just telling you how I walked it out. And, ever since then, I've just been growing every single day. then we had COVID and we had the lockdown. And so Easter of 2020, my husband went to the gun range. I stayed home and I watched The Passion. If you've never seen that movie, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It was another life-changing movie. That actually gave me a visual to go with what I was already feeling like spiritually. And I remember doing a Facebook Live with ugly crying because I was so touched by that movie. And I hadn't really been able to sit through it before, but I sat through it and watched every second of that suffering. I don't care that it came from Hollywood. I don't care that there were actors playing it. I saw Jesus in that movie, and I saw what he did for my sins. And I'm telling you, I cannot turn back. I cannot keep quiet. And if you were to see anybody around here that knew me, the old Rhonda, compared to now, they'd be like, she is done a 180. She was here, now she's here. and that's the truth. That is the truth. I call myself, and I joke with my mom and my sister, I'm Nana 2.0. Because my Nana, you know, she was Miss Religious, finger in your face about, you know, Jesus and God. And it turned me off back then. And y'all, I'm Nana 2.0. I probably should have named my channel that, but that's not what God gave me. So anyway, it's kind of like my testimony. And so I've been doing this. I don't go to a church. I'm non-denominational. I got out of the New Age before I really got into it, and I'm so grateful for that. And I really think it's because of different things that God has led me to learn about. I love to learn. I love to research. I love to know the whys, the ins and the outs of different things. And so I've kind of just, I don't want to say self-educate or self-teach or whatever, but I do a lot of stuff on my own. I get an idea, I hear something, I read something, I do more research, I get down into the nooks and crannies of it because I want to know the truth, because I want to share God's truth. And so just when I started sharing the few things on Instagram and Facebook here and there, I've had so many people reach out, and then I finally felt that nudge of God saying, I'm telling you, I want you in front of other people, and I want you to share your truth. I want you to share your story, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like nobody else's. You can wear your hat. You can wear your t-shirt. You don't have to do anything. I want you to be you, because I've given you your personality, your squeaky voice, and this platform, and I want you to share what's on your heart. So that's what I'm here to do. I don't know how it's gonna work out. I just know that I want to be obedient. I want to share God. I want to share the things that he does in my life every single day, even to the teeniest, tiniest little thing. The people that he brings into my life that expands my life and expands my knowledge and just really helps to hone my skill in other ways of reading the Bible. I am just so grateful that I am here today, sitting in front of this little camera, talking to you, because in my heart, I know that I'm doing what God has wanted me to do. In my heart, I know I'm a completely different person than I was, 4 years ago? Has it been 4 years? 2019, 2020? So almost 4 years ago. No, 3 years ago. So let's call it 3 years, because I rededicated. I had been baptized in the Baptist church here in New Smyrna. So I had given myself to Christ, but when my life fell apart, I retreated. So I've just rededicated, and I have such a different love for it now. I can't describe it. I have no hate in my body. I can't even bring up a feeling of hate from my divorce. I can't even bring up a feeling of hate toward my friend. I can't even bring up any of that darkness anymore. I don't know where it went. I don't want to know where it went. I'm just glad it's gone. But that person that I was is dead. For real. Took off the old self and put on a new self. And here she sits in front of you. So y'all, again, welcome to my channel. It's going to be a fun ride if you stick around. I promise you that. Jesus has done a lot of change in my life, and I cannot wait to share it with you. I got the video done. Y'all have no idea how happy I am because I really felt that I wasn't going to be able to get through it. And so, yeah. Thank you for watching. I cannot believe I've been talking for 30 minutes. Wow. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Stick around. The best is yet to come. Bye.